Here in Richardson, Texas, and we're going to be replacing this fence. Currently we've got a white wood post fence. It's all rotted out now and it's time to replace. We're going to be putting in an EcoFence panel. We're going to do an 8-foot high fence around the perimeter and a 6-foot high fence around the pool equipment here. Alright, so the first step of the project is to remove the fence. We're going to take each panel down, move it to the side, and then remove whatever posts are necessary for the project. Alright, if you look at this fence closely, you can see that the boards are real tight to the ground. That's not really the best way to install a wooden fence. It's a good idea to leave your fence a little bit off the ground. Ground contact with the wood will allow for rot prematurely on your lumber. So if you leave it off the ground just a little bit, it'll protect your wood from rotting. And that's what we're going to do on this job. In fact, we're actually going to put a pressure-treated mud board along the bottom so that there's no contact with the cedar on the ground. This site, it's rained today and it's very muddy. That's going to be one great advantage of using OzPost today because we're not going to create a whole lot of mud. Now we've taken the fence down and we've installed our 2 end posts on this line. We ran a string line about 3 feet off the ground, and I temporarily made a jig here by using an OzPost, and in this case we're using steel posts. I then went along and measured every 6 feet for the spacing of the post, set the post on the location where I wanted it, checking that it's level here. Once it's touching here and level there, just mark a hole by spinning it. That leaves a mark on the ground where you can know where to put your posts. That way they'll turn out straight. Now we've got this entire fence line in here. This is where the customer wanted the gate, the same place as the old posts were. We've just pulled those posts out of the ground, set the OzPost in. We'll break off some of this loose concrete, throw it in the hole, mix some concrete to fill in the rest of the gaps, and then the posts will be set. Okay, so we've drawn a straight line from the front of the house to here, and this location we're going to rack the panels down. We don't want any more than 2 mud boards. Measure from your string line between the two, cut at the length, then you screw it on with self-drilling screws. After you get the cap on, then you can put the 2x6 on, nail it on each side, and fill your gap with mud boards. Okay, so we've got this first fence line in. You can see we've gone level with these mud boards all the way along. We're going to fill that gap in. We're going to shave the mud boards to fit the opening. And this is all going to go right down to 0 up here. So we're going to have a front top, and then we're going to slope down to the driveway, and then around the back. But once you get the post set, then you're going to put on your post cap, and then your panels. Post caps are screwed on with self-drilling screws, about 3 per board, and then the panels are attached with nails or screws. So here we've got the mud boards on an angle. We're starting to slope down, and we'll just go ahead and rack the panel. So it fits right in. So you can just rack the panel to follow your terrain. Now we've got the panels attached on one side of the post. Trim the other side with a piece of trim like this. You put your self-drilling screws into the panel, all the way up and down. Now here in the corner, this is not a 90-degree corner, so it's a little bit different. We use 2 pieces of trim cut on an angle on the other side, and on this side we're going to trim it off just like this. Make it look really nice top to bottom, give a nice look at the corner. Okay, this is the other side of that corner that I was just talking about. Notice how we've cut the post cap on an angle to make the 2 fit. And then in the end we'll just trim it off with a piece of 1x4. Make it look nice top to bottom. Alright, after you put the top cap on, the post trim, there's an optional decorative trim to go below there. This gives a really nice look and adds a real interesting finished appeal to the fence. To attach the trim, I recommend you use a galvanized finish nail. You can also use regular nails or screws. The finished nail gives a really nice finished look, so you can't see any of the hardware. Be sure to use a galvanized piece of hardware. Now we're working on the gate. This side we've already completed. There's a cap on either side of the post, and there's a 1x4 down the end. So we're going to do the same thing on this side, cap both sides, and 1x4 here to create our opening for our gate. One thing you want to make sure you do is level the caps from side to side to make sure everything's nice and square. So over by the gate we need to cut a panel just to fit the section just right. So the first thing you do is just measure. I need the opening to be 71 1/4. Measure the top and bottom. One of the easiest ways to get a straight line is just to use one of your end caps. If you're using the steel post installation, you should have plenty of them. Just line them up with the line. Mark it all the way along. I got a nice line to follow with the skill saw. Now we've got our gate opening. It's capped off on the side with 1x4. The next step is to measure your width for your header. Measure up here, 35 3/4. Now the gate itself is going to be 3/4 less to allow room for the gate opening. So it's going to be 35. The header is going to be 35 3/4. Let's go cut some more. So I've got the end cap for the gate done. This is the header up here. This is the gate down here. The gap in the middle for the 2x4 caps that are going to go on the gate and on the header. Notice how the gate is 3/4 of an inch less than the header. This will leave room for the hinges and latch. If you have different kinds of hinges and latch than what we're using in this video, change the width of your gate accordingly. Okay, so one of the things, after you get it cut, then you're going to put your end caps on. An end cap on either side of the gate. Because the panels are rackable, you want to make sure that once you get them set in the corners, that you check for square. Which is something to keep in mind. If you're just nailing it together and not checking for square, then the gate could be crooked. Now once we put the end caps on, then we'll put the angle braces on here, just like so. Here we're using a manta latch. Going to drill through. All I did was put the latch on and push in. It leaves a little mark in the wood. Drill through with a 1/2 inch drill bit. Put the pin through. You want it sticking out about 3/8 of an inch on both sides. Then you put the latch on, this piece in here, and lock it together. It's going to go just like so.